and protected mode. What is the purpose of public-private? If you are writing the data, how the members want to be, it is the main situation. Then what is meant by public means, if you declare the class member as public, then we can access that member as worldwide access. Then if you declare the member as a private, then we can access that member within the class. We can access the member out of the class by assigning that private member to another function or anything. Then if you give the data member as class member as a protected mode, then it is a small slight difference between the private and protected mode. If you give protected mode, it will we can access the member within the subclass. I mean, from the class and subclass we can derive. Suppose if you give in the private mode, it will access. I mean, we can access up to in the class. We can see the examples for the access modifiers. See, same as hash include IO stream. I am declaring the header file. Then I am writing the class as sample. In the class of sample, I am declaring public age as age and display age as public. Then in the method, then I am closing the class. Then I am going to int main. In main function, I am declaring the age. I mean, from the user side, I am taking the age. With the help of object, I am calling that method display age. Then I am returning the main. See what input, what output you can get. See, I am inputting 45. Then you can get the same value. Then if you suppose you are given the age as private member, then we want to access, like, see, in the method I am given that argument as int a. Then I am assigning that private member to another variable. Then I am accessing that variable through the object. We can't access directly the private member with the object. See, I am running the same code. Then, if suppose we are given in the protected mode, as I am discussed that protected mode is we can access two subclasses. Here I am taking first of all the class is sample. Then I am given the age to protected mode. Then I am extending the sample, like this is sample is a parent class and the sample child is a subclass or child class. In child class, I am declaring the public public. In that same, I assigned the variable to protected a variable to a variable. Then I am printing the age. In main function, I am calling the child class, not the parent class. We can call parent class is as well as in child class. Then we can call with the child class. I am child class. Then I am creating the object for the child class. I am taking the input from the user. Then I am creating an object for that. With the help of object, I am calling the display age method. See. Then we can get the output like. Then we are going to the main concepts like in OOPS. They are having the four concepts. One is inheritance, polymorphism, data abstraction, and encapsulation. We can see the brief definitions. What is meant by inheritance? Inheritance means when we can consider an object, it acquires all the properties and behaviors of parent object is known as inheritance. If you consider our general example like a child can inherit its characters and behaviors of a parent. We can take that example as for the inheritance. Then for the polymorphism, if you are doing one task, We can do a task in different n number of ways. That n number of ways is known as polymorphism. Abstraction means mainly in OOPS concept, we are going to OOPS concept because of security. We are hiding the data. What if suppose we are declaring some functions in one class, we are hiding that details to the other class. That other class we can't able to see what before the functions are there. It is known as abstraction. Then encapsulation means binding code and data. How means if suppose you are merging that code and data in, like we can take example as in capsule, in any number of medicines are binded through the capsule. Like that we can binding the data and the code. Now we are going to deal with the inheritance concept. Inheritance, there are types of inheritance. One is level inheritance and high. Single inheritance means it is defined as if you are deriving one parent class from one base class is known as single inheritance. We can see an example demo on the single inheritance. See, I am creating the class as account. It's a parent class. In parent class, I am declaring the salary as a float in the public access modifier. I am assigning the value to 60,000 to a salary. Then I am going to base derived class. I am deriving the class from the base class. Assigning that I am assigning that values. Then I am going to the main function. In main function, I am the object from I am calling the object with the help of name. Then I am printing the salary and bonus. I am running the program. The slides are visible. Command prompt is visible.
Yes.
Command prompt. Yeah. Okay. This is single inheritance. Then going to multi-level inheritance. Multiple. What is mean by multiple inheritance means here we are having the base classes are n number of two or more than base classes are deriving the one single derived class. It is known as multiple inheritance. You can see the example. Here the class A, I am declaring the name of the class is A. Here I am giving the variable as A in protected mode and public. I am in public mode. I am declaring the one method function is get A. Yeah, I am passing an argument int n. I am assigning the protected variable to this argument variable. Then I am creating one more class B. Class B. I am giving the variable int b and I am declaring the method as void get b. Then as I discussed that two or more than base classes are deriving one single class. Here C is the derived class from public A and public A because these A and B are the base classes. We can declare this public. Suppose if you are declared in private mode, we want to access in different way. So I am deriving in public way. In class C, I am writing the function as void display. Then why you are writing the std dot scope resolution operator and cout means here I am taking the same variables A as A. So to differentiate compare, we are writing that scope resolution operator. Then in the main function, I am writing the I am creating an object for the child class, calling the child class with the object. I am calling the method of get a through the object, and I am calling the get b method through the, and I am calling the display function through the object. I am returning the main function. See, I am assigning the variable value of a is 10, then the value of b is 20, addition of a and b is 30. Then we are going to multi-level inheritance. What is meant by multi-level inheritance means, multi-level inheritance it is a process of deriving from another derived class. Suppose parent class is deriving one derived class, base class is deriving one derived class. Again, the derived class is deriving one more derived class is known as multi-level inheritance. We can take the exam, we can see the demo inheritance. Here I am declaring the class name as animal, and in the class I am given the method as void eat. In the eat I am printing the data. Then I am closing the class. Then I am going to another child class dog. It is derived from the public class, base class. Then again, then here again the base class is derived from again other derived class. So it is a multi-level inheritance. In main function, I am creating an object which is for that I am creating again class, and then through the object I am calling the eat method, and I am through the object I am calling the bark, and I am calling the peep method. Then I am returning the function. Then what will be the output means? See, the output will be, first of all I declared the eating print data. Then we are going to a hybrid inheritance. What is meant by hybrid inheritance? What is meant by hybrid inheritance means a combination of more than one type of inheritance is known as hybrid inheritance. We can take the hybrid inheritance as combination of combination of two or more than inheritance. We can tell. We can see the example of hybrid inheritance. See, here I am giving the class name as A. Then I am declaring the variable of A is in protected mode, and the variable of I am writing the function of get A in public mode. Again, here I am in the function I am writing std scope resolution operator because of to differentiate the variables. Then here I am taking the input from the user. Then I am closing the class A. Then I am going with class B. In class B, I am declaring the class B. Class B is derived from the class A. Then in class B, I am writing B as in protected mode, and I am writing the one more method in class B is by using a scope resolution operator. I am taking the user input from the user. I am taking the class again. I am taking the class as C and declaring the class C. And in protected mode, I am giving the C. In public, I am writing the one more function is get C. Get C is one more method, and I am writing in get using scope resolution operator. to take the input from the user. Then again C, in hybrid inheritance, two or more, one parent class deriving two child classes. Again, the two child classes deriving one more derived class is known as hybrid inheritance. Class D is declaring with through. Class D is use of public base B class and C class. In class D, I am taking the D variable to in the protected mode access. Then I am writing the function as mul function. In that, I am calling the whole or get A, B and get C. And in std, as like before, I am using population operator to take the perform this mul operations. Then I am closing that class. In main function, I am calling the which is lastly derived class. That derived class want to create an object for that class. Then I am creating the D object for the D class. I am creating an object. Then with the help of D, I am calling the mul function. I am giving the value of A is 4. Then value of B is 5. Value of C is 4. Multiplication is ABC is 18. Then one more type of inheritance is hierarchical inheritance. What is meant by hierarchical inheritance means it is defined as the process of deriving more than one class from the base class. Here the main small difference from multiple inheritance and hierarchical inheritance means in multiple inheritance we are having the more than one of parent class. In hierarchical inheritance, deriving class are one or more classes. Some are deriving the classes within the one parent class. That's the main difference between the multiple inheritance and hierarchical inheritance. We can see demo for the hierarchical inheritance. In same, here also I am declaring the hash include iostream.h. It is for taking the input of cout and cin. Then I am writing the using namespace std. Say for to differentiate the functions. Then I am writing the class name as shape. Within the curly braces, I am declaring int a, int b variables as public. And any doubts? Any doubts? Hello.
No doubt. You continue. Yeah.
Okay. Then I am writing the function as get data. Here we are one more topic we can tell that. In functions, we are having the three types of functions: with arguments, with return type, and without no arguments, no return type, and no return type with arguments. Here I am following the no return type and with arguments. I am passing the arguments like m comma n as arguments. Then in this method, I am assigning the public variables a equals to n. They are assigning. Then I am closing that shape class. Then I am deriving the children class as rectangle name. Name of the children class is rectangle from the base class of public shape. Then in child class, I am writing the one more method as rectangle area. In that function, I am resulting that. I am assigning one more variable, and by performing that calculation, I am reading the result to that function. Then I am closing that class. Here, A is parent, shape is the parent class, and rectangle, triangle are the children class. See here, one base class, one or more children class. It's the hierarchical inheritance. Then I go into main function. In main function, I am creating the object for the base classes of. We are having the base classes of rectangle and triangle object or and t. Then I am assigning. I am declaring the variable. I am declaring the variables like length, breadth, height, base, and height. I am taking the input from the user. Then with the help of object, I am calling the data method. We this here length comma breadth. It will when we declare that r dot get data, it will goes to that method. In get data method. In get data method, it will compare with this arguments n comma m. Is both are int and it will check with the data type return types. Then it will matches. Then it will go to next. Then it will go to the rectangle area. Again it will go to that rectangle rectangle area method. It will return the result. It will return the result to the m variable. Then I am using the scope resolution operator to differentiate area. I am declaring that area of rectangle and base and height of the triangle. Then with the help of object, triangle object, I am calling the get data method. Same. It again when we called the get data method, it will check with it will check with n comma m. It will matches with base and height. Then it will goes to further. If not so, it will give the error itself. Then it will go to that method and it will calculate that area and it will assign that area value to n. Then it will triangle. It will print the area of triangle. See. Area of rectangle is 20. Then I am giving the values of base 5 and height is 6. It will give the area of triangle. Here we want to remember that difference between the hierarchical inheritance and the multiple inheritance. In multiple inheritance, we are taking the of A class and here class A and class B are the both are parent classes, and we are deriving the it's the main difference. Here in hierarchical inheritance, we are taking the one base class and child classes. It's it is one difference between the multiple inheritance and hierarchical inheritance. Then we are going advantages of inheritance. The main advantages of inheritance means reuse. In our in OOPS concept, the main purpose of inheritance is we can reuse the values. If suppose we are deriving one value in previous, it will reuse. We can access that previous value with the help of inheritance concept. This is the main thing, main advantage in the OOPS concept. So we are going with the inheritance concept in OOPS. Then it also existing code is reused. Then it will in inheritance utilities we can create class libraries. Then what are the disadvantages of inheritance means? Suppose if you are declared a function, it if compared to normal functions, it is an indirect function. And suppose if you not use the inheritance concept like properly, we can get the wrong solutions like error. They are garbage values like that. We can get that. Then the second type of concept in OOPS concept is polymorphism. What is mean by polymorphism means, as we discussed that when one task is performed in different ways, we can access that task with the help of a different number of ways. Its main advantage in the polymorphism. Then In polymorphism, there are two types of polymorphism. One is compile time polymorphism, and one more type is runtime polymorphism. Here we are using compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism is compile time polymorphism we are having two overloadings like function overloading and operator overloading. What is meant by function overloading means, if suppose if you want to write a function with same as same function, I am writing one more function. I consider we can take example of I am writing the shape as a function or add as a function. I am writing the add function in one class. Again, I want to write the same function in one more class. Then we are using the function overloading. Then what is meant to operator overloading means, if you is as like before we can reuse the op functions also, we can also reuse the operator overloading also. In runtime, then we can go into second method is runtime polymorphism. In runtime polymorphism, we are known as the one function is known as virtual function. What is meant by virtual function means that we are creating a function virtual. I mean, it will hide the data. For the it will differ from normal data to normal function to virtual function. Then see we can see one example for the function overloading. See we can see the example for the function overloading. See, I am declaring the header file. Then I am using the using namespace. As I said, we can use the namespace is differentiation purpose. To then I am declaring a class like cal or anything we can declare. Then I am calculating that. See, I am declaring the variables like in public mode. I am declaring one function as int add function. I am passing the arguments of int a comma int b. I am passing the a comma b arguments in this function add function. Then I am returning that function with the help of calculation. Then one parenthesis is missed. Oh, 1 minute. Then I am closing the class. I am declaring one more function as int add. See, I am using that function overloading. See, I am declared the same function as before. In before method also, I am before function also I am returned add function. Again, I am writing the add function. But if you want to declare the same function, but if you want to give the different parentheses, like it will check that with the parentheses. According to parentheses, it will perform the operations. See, then I am closing that class. And then I am writing the main function. See, as I said, with the help of class name, I am creating the one object. Then I am printing the data. That's it. See here, I am passing the values. I am passing the values of first function, then I am passing the values of second function. I am returning the main function. See, I am running that code. I said that I want to do the extension with .cpp. It will showing one error. See, spaces also might will matters. See, the values are printed 30 and 55. How it will take that? See, when we pause that 10 comma 20, it will goes to add function. In pub add function, it will check with the parenthesis. Here 10 comma 20 and it will matching with a comma b. So it will goes to this function and it will return the a plus b value. 10 plus 20, 30 value is returning. Then again, if suppose I have given 12 comma 20 and comma 23, then it will goes to this method. It will cross check with that arguments. Oh, it will matching. Then it will return the method. It is known as function overloading. Then
Excuse me, Shashank.
okay.
I guess there is some glitch. I don't know, it's on my laptop or maybe it's yours. I can just see your code block screen. Are you just teaching that one or you are showing something else as well?
Yeah, I am typing that code only for code blocks only. See, 1 second.
No,
It
just see
will
only
show
6 lines
the
of code are there.
6
Like I
lines.
can just see, yeah, include IOStream using namespace std class cal bracket
Okay.
public add. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. So
No.
Yeah.
you are writing something else. So can you please just do it again? Yeah. Now it's visible.
Now it's visible.
Yeah.
Okay. Now output screen is visible.
Not yet for me as of not yet, but I guess there is some lag.
See now.
Not for me. Anyone else?
No.
No.
Oh, for me it's showing the output screen, but why it's not sharing? I share a total window, total desktop.
Hmm. Can you do it 1 second?
What? Okay, I will run again once.
Yeah, just do it 1 second.
Yeah, okay. Now.
I
Now-
can just see your code. Return 0.
Right, stop presenting, then again present it.
Yeah, okay. Now.
It's still loading.
Okay.
I could see your code block screen.
Code block screen is visible. Okay,
Yeah.
I am running that code. Now output screen is visible or not?
No.
You
No.
just shared only the code block screen. You didn't share your whole window.
No. I shared total window.
No, you shared your code screen only.
You share the entire desktop. The option is there, right? You can do that.
Yeah. I share total desktop. See, now I am running the same. I am now code blocks is visible.
Still loading.
Now,
It is still loading. I guess there is some network issues. Like let's see.
hmm, now also you aren't able to see the output prompt also, or else the code block also not visible.
I'm just seeing a black screen as of now.
Black screen. Oh, loading.
If you don't mind, can you do it again? Like just log out from everything and just do it again. Share your
Yeah.
screen.
Again, I will reshare the screen.
Yeah.
No.
Your code block screen is visible.
Yeah. Okay. Now I am running the code.
Nope.
Now.
Nope. I guess you're just sharing your code blocks thing. I'm not. I think there is some.
I'm no. I've shared total desktop.
Open your Teams.
Yeah. 1 minute.
That means you have
See.
shared everything.
Yeah.
But we are not able to see your team screen. We are just able to see the
Team
code block.
code blocks only. Yeah. What is the issue? I can't get it. I share total desktop only. Now its PPT is visible. It's changing.
No PPT.
Only code blocks is visible, huh?
Yes.
There's a network lag, I guess. That's why it's not showing.
Uh, I will
Can you
try
try to help him
again.
out?
Now it's changing the code in code blocks. I mean, now what you are able to see in code blocks? Which
Same
program?
thing. Same program. Class, cal, public, int, add, int, a, int.
It's not changing.
Shashank, try only to present some different screen, like only the output screen or something.
What?
Only a different screen. Can you like show like the output screen or something?
Yeah. Okay. Now what you are able to see?
Black screen.
Black screen only, bro.
Black screen only, yeah. I said total desktop. Why it's not showing? I'm changing the code as well.
Bro, leave the meeting and join again and try.
Okay.
Yeah, it is loading.
It's loading. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
no,
we
it's not visible.
Yeah, it's okay. Now the command prompt is visible.
No,
no,
only the
code
code
blocks.
Code block visible. Okay, 1 minute. I will run again. Now? Now is it visible?
Only code.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
now command prompt.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Okay. In this, it will check with the parentheses. I am declaring the same name. I mean, function name is same. Add, and again I given the add function. Then it will, if suppose if you want to give that same function, want to check with the arguments what you are passing. Based on the arguments, it will cross check with that. Then it will perform the function. It will perform the operation. This is known as function overloading. Then we can go with the operator overloading. What is meant by operator overloading means if you want to same as like before one in this program we are overloading the function. In the now we are overloading the operator. We can overload any operator. Now I am overloading the unary operator. See, now is code blocks typing visible.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And now I am same like std. Then I am taking the class as test, or we can give anything name of the class. Then before and all we are using the public function public. Now I am using the private access specifier. I am declaring the num function, num variable. Then I am writing the function as test function. In that I am passing the variable variable. Then I am writing the method as operator. Operator plus. I am overloading the unary operator. That's why I am writing that operator. Then I am assigning. Assigning that number to. Then I am printing the value. And for that printing, I am writing the one more function as print function. Then going to main function. In main function, with the help of, I am creating the object with the help of name. Then I am overloading. Then I am with the help of object. I am calling the print function. I am returning the function. Now I am running the code. You want to save with the .cpp extension. See, the value is 10. When we see, I am using the operator. See here, I have taken the value. I passed the value for the num function as 8. Then it will goes to operator this function. Then it will num equals to, it will increment plus 2 value. Then it will print the value. In main function, first of all, what mean? First we will declare the. We are creating the object. Then I am overloading that unary operator. Then it will goes to this function. Then it will perform this function num equals num plus 2. Then after performing this the operation, then again I called the object. I called the print method. Then it will print the method. What the value it will printing. It is known as operator overloading. Then we are going to inheritance is completed and polymorphism is completed. Then abstraction. What is meant by abstraction means abstracting the data. How to abstract and data, and how it is know. Abstraction is the process to hide the internal details and showing functionality. In abstraction, there are two types: abstract class and interface. What is meant by abstraction using classes means I am with the help of classes. With the help of header files, I am abstracting the data. How we can see with the example. I am doing the typing visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then I am declaring the header file. Then I am performing the power of a number. That program with the help of abstract using classes. For that purpose, in that power function, we are why. Okay, a minute. As I given before, I am writing the using namespace std. Then I am going to int main method. I am declaring the value. I am assigning the value for n. Power equals to which power. How much power want to get. Then I am printing the I am assigning the result as a variable. In the function, I am passing the n variable comma. Two arguments n and power. Then I am printing the result. That's it. I am returning the function. It will showing error. Why? Because of here I am declared the header file is IO stream. In the IO stream header file, we are getting the only packages of int. I mean cout and cin only. Now we are using the power function. Power function is not in the header file. Power function is in the it comes under the math.h. So we want to include that math.function, then math.header file, then it will perform the power operation. See now again I am running that program. See now the it will this is known as abstraction. I mean here I am abstracting the data. Suppose if we are declared like before one, it will use like it is somewhat comfortable with the abstraction, because abstract it will goes behind that. I mean the what operation want to do, it will perform only within this perform I mean within this function. So it is abstraction using classes. Then how to abstract abstraction using namespaces means abstraction using namespaces means, see, I am abstracting the namespace. Why I am giving the method as allow method, and I am printing the I'm printing the value. I mean I'm printing the sentence like hello first name space. Then again I am taking the one more namespace second, then same as before in the curly braces I am writing one more function, same as before. See, I am printing the same line. Second namespace. Then I am closing the class. I am closing that namespace. Then I am going with the main function. In the main function, with the help of, I said that with the help of scope resolution operator, we can differentiate with the variables, different, same variables with the different similarities. We can differ. Again, we can differ with the then I am with the help of correlation operator. Again, I am calling the same function. I am returning the function. I am running the code. With the help of cpp.extension, I am saving the file. See, it will showing the error. Why so? It will give the what the error means. It's not a see. If suppose if you give the space, it will give the error also. See, space also matters. See, simple. See, I got the output like hello first namespace and hello second namespace. You can abstract the data with the help of namespaces also. This is one more example for the namespaces. Then we can go with the last type of last type of OOPS concept is encapsulation. What is meant by encapsulation means we are encapsulating the data. Binding the data and code together. It's known as encapsulation. We can the main advantage of encapsulation means we can get the whole the part code and data part in a single unit. It's a most curious thing because in OOPS concept we've already discussed that the OOPS is in OOPS they are combining the data and the code. It will happen with the help of the concept of encapsulation. We can take an example of capsule. If capsule is binded with the number of medicines, like n number of medicines, or binded with the whole capsule, it is known as one example for encapsulation. Yeah, this is the main concepts of OOPS. These are the main concepts of OOPS. Then we are going with the friend functions and like Dandal. We can discuss different types of functions and what are the ways we can derive from, you can declare, and how we can call the functions like that. Then in inheritance, we can call the derived classes as likewise private mode. We can call that private is suppose the base class. If suppose we can given the conditions like the base class is in public mode, then we can access the base class in public and the derived class also public. We can possible to inherit the members. If suppose the base class is in private and the derived class is in public, then we can't inherit the data through the object directly, because in private mode we can't inherit the data. We can inherit the data with the help of assigning the values to other functions like public functions. Then we can access the data. Then if suppose the base class is in protected mode and the derived class is in private mode, then we can access the data within the private mode. We can access the data within the private mode. We can access that. Then, if suppose the base class is in public mode and the derived class is in protected mode, we can inherited the data members within the protected mode only. These type of differences in the inheritance and polymorphism also. We are having the one more thing that runtime polymorphism. One more thing in runtime polymorphism, we can see the virtual functions. We can know that what is meant by virtual functions means with the help of virtual keyword we are deriving the virtual functions. How we can use that function with the help of virtual keyword, we can see now. I am writing the function without virtual keyword. Now I am declaring the header files. Then virtual keyword, I am writing the virtual function. How we can write? You can see. Then using namespace. It is common for all the programs. We want to include these two lines in all programs. Then I am declaring the class A. Then in public mode, I am declaring the function like void data. I am declaring, and I am writing the function like data. Then I am closing the class of A. Then again I taken class B. Same of like concept in inheritance. Public A. I am taking the class of A given in the public mode. That's why I am taking the keyword of public A. Then I am assigning the public. In same method, I am writing void data. Again, I am printing database. I am closing the class. Then I am writing the main function. I am creating object for the derived class obj. I am assigning the Bias function. Then with the help of obj object, I am calling the function of data. How it will be? Then I am returning the main function. Want to see The output is database. It will showing the derived class one. As I created for the object for the derived class, it will showing the only derived class one without virtual keyword. If suppose if you give the virtual keyword, then I am giving the virtual keyword. I am giving the virtual keyword in the first function. Virtual keyword in the function. Then I am running the code. See, I am now also it will showing that database. I mean, what's the difference between? You will get to know that what is the difference between with virtual keyword and what difference between the without virtual keyword. Okay. Now the concepts are very clear. I think, guys, guys.
Yes.
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 Okay. The whole oops concepts are completed. We can see the demo. We can see the all demo examples for the every oops concept and what are the types and so on. Guys,
Yes.
then any doubts?
No doubts.
No doubts. Okay.
Okay. Just a vote of thanks. As it is rightly said, being thankful and showing gratitude is something which makes you humble and kind. Therefore, I, Sanjana Katoch, takes this golden opportunity to present vote of thanks in front of all of you. Firstly, I want to thank our speaker, K.S. Shashank, whose gracious presence helped us to learn C++ language in a unique way. Thank you so much for such an insightful and interactive session. Surely we have gained a lot of knowledge from this webinar. Secondly, I am obliged to my board members for their valuable assistance whenever required. The successfulness of any event depends upon the participants and the audience. So I take this privilege to thank such a terrific and elected audience who maintained the decorum throughout the session. With this, we come to an end. For more updates, follow our Insta handle. Any doubts, do check this YouTube video and attendance link is provided in the chat box. Edu, after this, you may leave the meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks one and all to giving the golden opportunity for that to discuss these topics. Thank you. Thank you, iQuest Club.
Guys, if you have filled the attendance, you can leave.